Now, we just heard that Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University student, was just released from the Louisiana Immigration Detention Center that he's been held at since March. A federal judge, remember, ordered his release. The Trump administration wants Khalil. Let's listen in to him speaking to the media right now.
This shouldn't have taken 3 months. I leave some incredible men behind me, over 1,000 people behind. In a place where they shouldn't have been, in that place, in the first place. I hope the next time that I will be in Gina is to actually visit this museum that's a testimony on America's racist policies against immigrants. The hundreds of men who I left behind me shouldn't be there in the first place. The Trump administration are doing their best to dehumanize everyone here. Whether you are a U.S. citizen, an immigrant, or just a person on this land, doesn't mean that you are less of a human. Thank you so much, everyone.
Mahmoud, a quick question from The Guardian. So the Trump administration has labelled you a national security threat. They have fought tooth and nail to keep you detained in one of the most renowned and punitive detention centres in the country. Do you have any message for the Trump administration?
Trump and his administration, they chose the wrong person for this. That doesn't mean that there is a right person for this. There is no right person who should be detained for actually protesting a genocide, for protesting their university, Columbia University, that is investing in the genocide of the Palestinian people. So this is my message. I will be able to give more comments at the press conference in New York tomorrow. I really need to catch the flight.
What is the first thing you'll do when you get home tonight?
Just hug my wife and son. As simple as that. It's not get back. I did not actually spend time with my son. The only time I spent my son was in a specified 1 hour limit that the government had imposed on us. So that means that now I can actually hug him and Noor, my wife, without looking at the clock. That now it's 59 minutes and they have to give him back to his mom, and then an ICE officer is coming to escort me out. That what actually.
What's your message to all other immigrants in this country today?
No one is illegal. No human is illegal. That's the message. The message is justice will prevail. No matter what this administration may try to portraying that immigrants are, whether criminals or any of that, trying to do all of this now. This simply is not true, and just to keep the fight against this administration.
Mahmoud, you spent 3 months inside that detention centre, as you say, with...
Spent 104 days, so more than 3 months.
Reflecting on that time, has it changed you as a person and your politics as well?
Absolutely. I mean, the moment you enter this facility, your rights leave you behind. So once you enter there, you see a different reality, just a different reality about this country that supposedly champions human rights and liberty and justice. But once you cross literally that door, you see the opposite side of what actually happening on this country under just the eyes of everyone. But I will leave it here. Thank you so much, everyone. And again, I will be able to give more comments in New York, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
And you are watching Columbia University student Mahmoud Khalil outside the ICE detention center where he was held for 104 days in Gina, Louisiana. He is now a free man, just walked out of those doors just moments ago. And remember, he was detained back in March for his role in the pro-Palestinian protests on Columbia University's campus. The Trump administration advised the ICE to detain him there for his role in those protests. Kati Weis Weiss is on the ground. We're waiting for her to get all set up in front of that camera, but you just saw Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University student, detained at the ICE detention facility right behind those doors. You're seeing the camera kind of swerve around there, but he walked out just moments ago, spoke to the cameras, and what stuck out to me was how anxious he was to see his family. His wife had a newborn son while he was detained, and he was only able to see his son for 1 hour during that entire time. So he's going back right now to New York to see his wife and his newborn son. Kati Weis is setting up right there. She's catching her breath. She's a one-woman show right there. She's got it going on. Kati, he just walked out of what stood out to you with that exchange there with the media, with Mahmoud Khalil?
Yes, thanks, Liz. It was a very powerful moment, a very quick one. As you can understand, after being in here for over 100 days, he was very excited to get home to his family. And I apologize for moving the camera around there. He just quickly stepped out right into the road. So I wanted to make sure I was out of the highway so I don't get hit by a car while I'm talking with you all. But yes, he wanted to make sure, though, that his message got through to our viewers right now watching, that essentially he feels that when you enter this facility here in LaSalle, the LaSalle detention facility in Jena, Louisiana, he says you leave your rights behind. Immediately, he says it's been a long road. He hasn't been able to see his son except for a 1 hour allowance during this time of being detained. You might recall his wife gave birth while he was detained here and was not allowed to be released on bond to be there for the birth, something that troubled his attorneys and other activists across the country. So today has certainly been a long time coming. I was actually out here last Friday. There was much anticipation and hope that he would be released then, but there was a lot of back and forth in the courts. Today's judge's ruling was, as you can see, definitive. Finally, he was able to get the release that he's been hoping for quite some time, and really his message to other immigrants is to stay strong.
Yes, and strong he did stay. How is the Trump administration responding to the news of Khalil's release?
Yeah, so the Trump administration has been avidly fighting and blocking to try to keep Khalil detained here at this facility in Jena. And essentially the Trump administration today is saying that this is just another example of how the judiciary is, quote, out of control, essentially claiming that that the judiciary is gone beyond their allowance, their powers to be able to release Khalil, saying that it's at threat to national security. And you heard another reporter here on scene asked him, do you think you're a threat to national security? Of course, he says no. And we know from attorneys on both sides so far, there has not been any evidence presented in the court system so far to prove that he would be a threat to national security. So far, just this past week, the only thing that he was being held on was an alleged green card fraud, that he had omitted information on his green card application. And the argument for that from his attorneys was essentially, that's ridiculous, that very few people, if any, have been held on that kind of an argument in the past. And so there's not much precedent really to hold someone for that the omissions were not in any way nefarious.
And Mahmoud Khalil headed back to New York to see his wife and newborn son.